on Curiosity Stream. He allows them their riches.
Putin has to be the richest of the rich.
In exchange for their loyalty.
The oligarchs have supported someone for president that they underestimate.
The illicit affair between Russia's elite and the man who rules them on Putin and the oligarchs. And World War II Normandy. An obscure battle training session takes a tragic turn. Uncover the one secret military catastrophe on the secret D-Day disaster. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today we toast 31-year-old Stephanie Matto of somewhere in Connecticut. Now, look, there's a lot been said lately about the fact that U.S. citizens have been quitting their jobs in record numbers, right? In fact, they even nicknamed it the Great Resignation. But with that in mind, we wanted to recognize someone who's actually working, and are working extra hard to earn a living. And Stephanie certainly fits that bill. In fact, this entrepreneur, she's worked so hard to keep her business afloat that she landed herself in the hospital. Now, she thought she was having a heart attack as she was experiencing sharp chest pains and, as she says, finding it really hard to breathe. She had to actually call a friend to drive her to the hospital, where doctors ran tests, and they concluded she was not having a heart attack or a stroke, which was the other concern she had, but suffering intense gas pain. And those gas pains, they were, in fact, work-related. You see, Steph has been selling her farts in jars to the tune of $200,000. And to keep up with demand, she changed her diet to beans, eggs, and protein smoothies with an emphasis on bananas, enough to produce 50 jars of farts a week. Well, sadly, this caused her gastrointestinal problems. She's been prescribed a gas suppressant, which has effectively ended her business enterprise. Damn, Steph, we admire that work ethic. That's right. She started selling farts in a jar.
$200,000.
$200,000 of people buying her farts in a jar.
I wonder what your farts in a jar would sell for.
It depends what you're looking for, because she even said she started cutting out stuff like cabbage. She wanted them to have a certain stink but not be too bad. So depending on what it is that's in me, I don't know. But I feel like I can do 50 jars a week just based on the diet I already have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Steph, man, we admire that.
Who's buying that?
Dude, I don't know. But again, she already made, it's not like she's been doing it for 8 years. We're saying $200,000 in the last couple of weeks selling farts in a jar. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Steve Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bitches. Happy 2022.
Oh, thank you, sir. All right, Jeff, you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic. You have your choice of 1 of 3 stories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, interior decorating, where you guess the foreign objects that ended up on the inside of someone.
Let's go Bite Me today.
Just eat it. Get yourself an egg and beat it.
All right, Hefe, this is kind of a 2-for-1 deal because it ends up leading into drugs. But in this case, a family of 4 in Florida, they ate some steak that contained drugs. We don't know how the drugs entered the meat, which the family bought at a Walmart. But not long after eating the beef fajitas, two of the daughters, ages 6 and 7, they were hallucinating and throwing up. The dad, Ronnie, he was seeing multiple hands sprouting out of his arm. And that was after they'd taken their mom, Jessica, to the hospital for her own reaction and because she was 9 months pregnant. Now, the hospital thought the family had been poisoned. None of the usual tests turned up anything. So they investigated the leftover beef from that day's dinner using the same techniques they use to test the flesh of cadavers. That's how they discovered the drug was the culprit. And follow-up tests on the family confirmed it. If the family had actually bought the drug-tainted beef from Walmart, that was a pretty big deal. So the feds got involved, sending agents from the FDA and the USDA to investigate. Well, they traced the meat from its farm origin in Georgia to a slaughterhouse distribution center in Tampa. Anyway, the investigation, they took this complete supply chain. They finally came upon surveillance footage of a father and son, quote, looking suspicious near the meat. They interviewed the pair, but they released them. Police interviewed the couple, who agreed to take a polygraph test. They both passed them. A bunch of different agencies had good reason to want to prosecute if the couple had been leading the whole government on a wild goose chase, but they concluded they had no evidence against Ronnie or Jessica. 8 months after the incident, they finally closed the unsolved case. They're still not sure how the drugs got into the meat. So while no one seemingly knows who's responsible, what drug was in the family's fajitas? Was it LSD, ketamine, psilocybin, Jesus Christ.
Psilocybin?
Thank you. Or PCP?
Wow, that is a lot of information, man.
Yeah, dude, basically they made the beef fajitas. The whole family started tripping. Keep in mind, the mom had a reaction first. She's 9 months pregnant. Take her to the hospital. Then the whole family starts tripping. They're all hallucinating, going through all the stuff. The kids are throwing up. They test the meat. There was the drug. They polygraphed the parents. The parents, as best they can tell them the truth. They didn't taint it themselves. They did. You had federal agencies get involved. They cannot find where the drugs entered the meat.
So it came from Georgia to Tampa, but where did they buy it? Where's the Walmart?
They were somewhere in Florida. I don't know what city they were in, but they bought it in Florida. I'm guessing outside of the Tampa area. Yeah, because that was the distribution center. But the farm of origin was Georgia.
So LSD.
And they're hold on. So their symptoms were hallucinations, right?
And vomiting, yes. So LSD, ketamine, psilocybin, or PCP.
PCP, and what's ketamine do?
It also leads to hallucinations.
What was tainted? And I know it's beef fajitas, but ketamine originally is a tranquilizer, I want to say, for horses.
Horses, yeah.
So, I mean, I think maybe ketamine somehow, got into one of the cows and just stayed in a system?
That's fair.
I mean, I don't know. It just seems like if you're at a facility and you taint, it would be hard to taint only a few of this meat.
You know, I'm gonna go out on a limb, guys. I'm gonna go mushrooms because it's a steak fajita. Maybe it had mushrooms in it.
So
usually there's not mushrooms in fajita. It's just peppers and onions.
So you're going to psilocybin?
Yeah, let's go psilocybin.
I'm going LSD. Ted?
I'm going ketamine.
Ketamine. Okay. We're going to find out what was in their beef. Was it LSD, ketamine, psilocybin, or PCP next?
That was a tease.
New on Curiosity Stream.
From time to time, we have collisions between asteroids and the Earth.
We track them, we study them, we hope the big one never comes. Don't look up, it's Asteroid Rush. And alligators. They rarely get sick, they even outlasted the dinosaurs. Could they hold the secret to human longevity?
Their blood could have antibacterial applications.
Wade into the investigation on immortal alligators. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Hey, all the Macholas, thank you so much for listening to the Men's Room Podcast.
And thanks to our pals at the Advocates Law Firm for being great partners. Yes, even you, creepy Kyle.
Seriously, though, if you'd been injured as a result of somebody else in your car, on your bike, walking across the street, talk to our friends at the Advocates Law Firm and let them help you out.
Yeah, they're the best injury lawyers around, and they want to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Plus, your first consultation is free.
It's simple. You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Category is Bite Me on Profile. This is a family in Florida. They ate some steak fajitas. Unfortunately, those steak fajitas and steak in particular contain drugs. Mom went to the hospital. Kids and dads got sick, threw up, and all that stuff. The meat did, in fact, have drugs in it. Question is, what was the drug? Was it LSD, ketamine, psilocybin, or PCP?
And that is a question that we posed to you, Hefe. You came straight out of the gate. You went with psilocybin.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm afraid I would hit the buzzer, but my goddamn thing isn't working. There we go. We wanted to give you the full letdown there. It is not psilocybin. Let's see, Ted, you went with ketamine, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it's an animal tranquilizer and all that. But no, it was not that. Miles, you went with LSD. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah,
I followed up on it before. That was my only clue.
My thing, to me, the only giveaway, and look, all of those drugs, they do lead to hallucinations, but when Dad thought he saw a hand or fingers growing out of his arm, like to me, that's an LSD style.
Because if you go way in, you'll definitely throw up early.
It's crazy, man.
It's not too different than like a peyote experience.
They don't know how the beef got, but it was super tainted, man. So like they said, they thought maybe the parents did it. It wasn't them, as best they could tell, right? They watch all this video surveillance, all this. They cannot figure it out. And keep in mind, they cooked it. You know, they bought the stuff raw. They cooked it. They made beef fajitas, and everyone started tripping.
That's awful.
Yeah, it really is, man. Like, I kind of giggled just because everyone's all right, but I'm like, God damn, man. And it's a waste of LSD, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and that person has no idea what's going on.
Nothing worse than being dosed and not knowing it.
Damn. Now for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, Armageddon, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices today, the Jimmys.
Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel.
We'll go Seth Meyers.
All right.
Trevor Noah. Or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
That was right there. The title. All these guys have talent. Teams of writers to help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
The new season of The Bachelor premiered, and they are back in the mansion after several seasons away. That's why the first group date activity was evicting raccoons.
Kimmel.
I'll say Kimmel.
Fallon.
Some entertainment news was the season 26 premiere of The Bachelor. Yes. The show returned to the Bachelor Mansion after several seasons away, which is why the first group date activity was evicting raccoons.
Wonder who got a rose.
Do they hand out a rose every show?
Yeah, man, that's how you know you get to stay.
Okay.
That's why you have the rose ceremony at the end.
I knew there was a rose involved. I didn't realize that was the deal.
Yeah, it's a massive deal. It's like what the Beast gave the princess one, or the Beauty.
You can stay. I know they weren't here. That's why you can stay.
You can't leave.
Doors locked from the outside.
Mercedes just unveiled a new concept car that is made from sustainable materials such as mushrooms, cacti, and food scraps. If you thought the Tesla owners were annoying, just wait for the guy whose electric car is also vegan.
Boy, it'd be funny if it weren't true.
Myers, I'll say.
Yeah, I'm going to go Myers.
That's Fallon.
Guys, get this. Mercedes just unveiled a new electric concept car that's made from sustainable materials like mushrooms, cacti, and food scraps. If you thought Tesla owners were annoying, just wait for a guy whose electric car.
Kim Kardashian is reportedly upset with Miley Cyrus because of her attempts to hit on her boyfriend Pete Davidson when the two hosted a New Year's Eve special together. Well, she should be worried about the younger blonde, said every first wife ever.
Ted Smith.
Yeah,
It's Miley Cyrus. You know what I mean? I don't even know if she's hitting on him. That's just Miley being Miley.
Oh, no.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, from the first time they were on Kimmel together, which is fine. Mm-hmm. I get it. I think Kim Kardashian's probably hotter.
Oh, for sure.
But
I know.
Yeah. I've just never heard of a relationship ending because of a younger blonde. Because of a huge winter storm, a stretch of I-95 in Virginia was shut down and drivers were stuck on the interstate for more than 24 hours. Meanwhile, there was one dad sitting there saying, if I could just get over one lane.
Fallon.
Yeah, Fallon. That's right.
Well, this is wild. I saw that because of a huge winter storm, a 50-mile stretch of I-95 in Virginia was shut down and drivers were stranded on the interstate for more than 24 hours. Yeah. Meanwhile, there was a dad sitting there like, if I can just get over the one lane.
All right. Nobody admits it, but a lot of people pirate shows.
Of course. And of course you don't admit it. It's like being a drug dealer. You sell drugs? Of course.
Which is weird, because I'm like, the industry makes so much money. I don't think it's a massive deal.
Do you remember the story of Eric Clapton?
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, there's a lot of people about like that. But Torrent Freak, they released of the most popular pirated TV shows.
All right.
Basically, they calculated using data of the number of individual episodes that were legally downloaded rather than an entire series download. So,
okay, all right.
Right, so that kind of affects the list of like, not everybody watched all the full seasons of these shows, but they watched some of these shows, or they watched at least a couple episodes of these. Any guesses? There's 10 of them.
And I guess nothing on network TV only because it's always available and it's on the house. So it has to be streaming stuff. What do I like? The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian, not on here.
Okay, never mind.
Which is weird. Is there some Disney shows on here?
What do you think about
that? Means it's got to have either WandaVision or Loki on there.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
WandaVision's number 1. Loki was number 2.
Damn. All right.
After that, they have the Witcher on Netflix.
Yep.
We go back to Disney Plus, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
So basically Marvel properties.
Right. Is What If on there as well?
And then Hawkeye,
Jeez.
What If,
all Marvel stuff.
Foundation.
That was a cool show, man.
It's weird because it's mostly about makeup.
That
makes sense.
It's a makeup tutorial.
It's the beginning.
As written by Isaac Asimov. If you have not watched the show, I'd recommend you. Yeah, it's sci-fi, but it goes a little deeper than that. It's only 10 episodes. 8 episodes.
There's really only one show on here I watch a lot. Arcane on Netflix. I haven't seen it. And then The Wheel of Time. Mike, there's one show on here.
Rick and Morty.
Yes!
Really?
Yeah, I made the list today. I don't know why I'm happy, but yeah, that's and that's the only show not on a streaming service, but still on cable because it's on Adult Swim.
Yeah, my kid discovered Rick and Morty and thinks it is brilliant.
Have you watched him yet?
I will say that me and his mother have differing opinions about the show.
Well, no, I'm saying, do you like it?
It's okay.
Oh, she probably hates it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've heard me and Mike talk about it. Like, they address it. Like Morty, season 3 was dark. Right? Was it season 3?
I think so.
Or season, it was
season 3.
And there's some things, again, it's a cartoon, so you just got to kind of suspend reality a little bit. But
sure.
Yeah, there is some language. I was hanging out with a girl. She had a friend named Summer. So every time she was like, I'm going to hang out with Summer. I was like, F Summer. She's like, will you stop saying that? I'm like, it's very funny. That's when you realize what kind of like niche-y kind of show Rick and Morty is. But yeah, you know what? Let me just say this. I don't know a ton of women that love it. I'm sure I'll catch heat for that. I'm just saying, like, any girl I've dated, they're like, no.
You can't catch heat for it. You don't know a lot of women that like it.
I know. It's like, right. It just is what it is. All right. I feel like we're just talking about shows Mike and I like now. This one's very sad. Again, have you two ever seen Impractical Jokers?
I have seen it.
All right.
Parts of it.
Miles, I'm telling you, as much as you used to go on and on about America's Funniest Videos, like, I really think you like the Practical Jokers. And I say this all the time. There is no age, race, sex. There is, like, it amazes me the conversations I get in with people, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, of course I watch Jokers.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you'll get into the whole conversation, who's your favorite Joker, this and that. Well, one of my favorites, well, there's only 4.
This hurts.
I know. You should have seen the sad text messages between me and Mike this weekend. But Joe Gatto from Practical Jokers, he announced on New Year's Eve he's leaving the show. Him and his wife are divorcing. He says he needs, quote, he needs to focus on being the best father and co-parent. There are 2 kids.
Okay.
Which is fair. He's like, look, laughter is best medicine. I've been able to provide that over the last... Seeing you laugh's been my own medicine, particularly in these weird and difficult times we find ourselves. And to their credit, like, when the pandemic started and everything, like, they still found ways to do episodes, whether it was just goofing off on Zoom call interviews, or it was just like the 4 of them in a room, or they even did a thing where they would just kind of talk about old episodes, but the 4 of them were just on Zoom having dinner.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny, too, as you see everybody's personality. Like, Joe was always the guy that he's had kids longer. Like, I think
he's the only one with kids, isn't he?
He's probably the only one with kids, right? But Joe's like, he's at like home. Q's kind of cool. But like, basically they all would make food or whatever, except Sal. Sal's kind of like me. Sal's just sitting in an apartment, and he'd obviously ordered like the pasta. And
right. Okay.
It was always, but yeah, they did a good job doing that. Basically, here's the deal. The other Jokers are still going to do shows. Murray, Quinn, Sal. They said, after all these years together, we never imagined making Practical Jokers without Joe. We're sad to see him go. We want to keep making people laugh, keep our relationships with the fans going, keep working with the members of our team that we consider family.
Sure.
I think the other odd thing about this is, right, is there, what is it, childhood or high school friends?
Oh, yeah, they're childhood friends.
Yeah, all from Staten Island. So it's not even like they started out like with an idea.
This is just what they do.
Yeah, and they've been doing it. They were already kind of doing it, and then figured out a way to get it on a show. And then, like a couple, like what was I gonna say, Murray. He's like written books and this and that. Sal used to own a bar and bartended, so they kind of went.
His name was Sal. Of course, he owned a bar.
Yeah, I know. He's scared.
It's like you have to.
He's scared of everything.
Q could still be a firefighter.
Right, Q was a firefighter. So it's just weird when they got this show. And I mean, look, we say it all the time. If you watch True TV, like,
you know it.
It's Jokers. Tacoma FD, funny. But there's only like 3 seasons of that.
Right.
Once in a while you got the magic guy. But like, that's basically what they run all the time, besides like funny movies, is that shit. So it's very hard to imagine. God, I don't know why I'm so upset. Like, it's just very hard to imagine Joe not being there.
Joe was like one of the driving forces behind the show. They're pulling pranks on each other. They're pulling pranks on other people. They're trying to embarrass each other in public.
Yeah.
Joe was the one that didn't have a whole lot of shame.
Okay.
Like, if you told him to do something or say something or act a certain way, he played right into it, and he was hilarious. And I guarantee you, he came up with half the jokes on that show. Okay. I 100% believe that he was the driving force as far as creatively speaking for the different pranks that they had on the show. So my opinion, man, go on a hiatus for a minute.
Someone here says, first, damn it, Ted, I thought you were going to say Joe died or something. Oh. Someone else says, the Practical Jokers effing rocks. Miles, you would effing love it. And then,
yeah, you would.
Someone says, in Practical Jokers, it's like the men's room if you were sober in public with cameras just effing with each other.
Ooh. Yeah, and that's the other funny thing, too. Joe had no shame, and he's the only one... He doesn't drink.
Oh, really?
So even when they did stuff at bars, like, you'd see Q having, like, Q and Sal, you imagine, probably could throw down. I don't know that Murray drinks too much. But, yeah, like, Joe was, you'd always just kind of notice, like, oh, he doesn't. But he ate sweets.
Okay.
That was the other funny thing.
Oh, my God, so much.
Just house, right, because you kind of see them behind there. But you're right. I think Joe wrote a lot of it. Yeah. And it's just a show that worked well together.
Yeah.
Q, I would always say Q and Sal kind of get better reactions and get more embarrassed. But, yeah, Joe had no shame. And then, right.
Murray was just Murray.
Yeah, Murray's just Murray. They did have one punishment. So if you lose on the show, you have a punishment, right? And Miles, they made him get up every morning, I want to say 3 a.m. or something. And then he had to webcam over to Australia and give like a morning report called G'day Mate. But there was like a whole process to it. He had to do like a traffic report.
Hour-long show.
The weather. He had to play the didgeridoo. And then he had to eat a meat pie, but he's like upstairs in his house, so he just has a microwave. And I think he didn't eat meat, so it's just like a vegetarian meat pie. But like that one got him. Like the first day, he's kind of laughing, and by the end, he's just like, this meat pie sucks.
Right?
Yeah. But yeah, if you're a fan of that show, that's obviously a little disappointing. But I don't know. Guys get divorced. He says he wants to concentrate on kids. So what do you got to say? Yeah, I'm with Mike though. I think they've made bank already.
Well, and True TV's surviving on the reruns of the thing, so it's not like anything's going to change. There's just not going to be a whole lot of new episodes right now.
Right, exactly. Like I'm with Mike. I would just take a hiatus. Plus, the other three guys go on tour all the time, or go on tour by themselves to do stand-up.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Ted, Jess wants to let you know I love Rick and Morty.
Oh, there you go. We got one. Nice work. Ted, thank you. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
New on Curiosity Stream, he allows them their riches
Putin has to be the richest of the rich.
in exchange for their loyalty.
The oligarchs have supported someone for president that they underestimate.
The illicit affair between Russia's elite and the man who rules them on Putin and the oligarchs. And World War II Normandy, an obscure battle training session takes a tragic turn. Uncover the one secret military catastrophe on the secret D-Day disaster. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Well, great balls of fire, Bubba. What happened, Bilford? That crazy son of a Sal blew right through that four-way stop on Main Street and plowed into my cowboy Cadillac.
Your what?
My pickup truck. And I'm pretty sure my leg is broken, Ted.
Oh, quit your bitching, Buford, and talk with those side busters at the Advocates Law Firm. When I got busted up last month, well, shoot, they made sure those snakes at the insurance company played fair.
Boy, howdy. Even that creepy so-and-so Kyle earned his keep.
So if you get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. A man in Hawaii wants a better view of a volcano. And yes, he gets one. Meanwhile, a woman awakens from a coma after doctors use a pill from her husband's love gun. In England, a gang of women known as the Rolex Rippers need a moment of your time. Man finds out that not letting your wife drive home drunk is somehow now a crime. And a Vancouver man is told he needs to wear a mask at the IGA, so he pulls out his meat cleaver. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
All right, top story. We go to Vancouver, where someone still hasn't gotten the hang of the whole mask situation. The event occurred inside of an IGA grocery store after an employee asked the patron to put on a mask. This went about as well as you can expect. Instead of just putting a mask on, he pulled a meat cleaver on the employee and threatened to stab him. Which I don't know how you do that with a meat cleaver, but all right. Following the brandishing, the man fled the grocery store without paying for his goods, and the employee called police. The man was arrested, and the stolen groceries were returned.
I think it's interesting that he travels with a meat cleaver.
Right?
To the grocery
I mean, that's
store.
the part that's the part, like, you had a meat cleaver on you?
At this point, is it premeditated? Because he went to that length rather quickly. You're right. Who walks around with a doggone meat cleaver on him? He's in there without a mask. He knew somebody was going to tell him to.
Right. Right. And you had a meat cleaver on you. I would assume that it is.
Right. In other news, in Hawaii, the body of a 75-year-old man was recovered after blazing his own trail in a national park. The man was reported missing by his family the day earlier, and he was found inside the local erupting volcano 100 feet down from the opened peak. It's being assumed that he, like many others, snuck off the beaten path in order to look into the volcano to see the glowing lava, as it's been erupting for some time now. Man, just know that it's there.
Yeah, I mean,
don't worry, drones will get good footage of it.
That's a pretty good fall there.
That is a pretty decent fall, yeah.
That'll do it too.
How close do you need to look at a volcano?
Right. Again,
I mean, you know what they do. You know what it is. You're already on it. You know, kind of.
Right.
That's good, man.
I enjoy looking at bears at the zoo.
Yeah, right.
They're generally behind the trees, so I'm not going to walk into the enclosure and just kind of get a good look at it. Like, just believe that it's in there, man. You're good.
Well, he learned his lesson.
The rich in the UK have a band of thieves to keep on the lookout for, a gang of women claiming to represent charities. The crew are responsible for more than 30 reported thefts of watches right off the wrists of affluent men. They claim to represent charities as a way to slip past their defenses and work their sleight of hand pickpocketing magic in order to remove the expensive Rolex watches right off their wrists.
Huh. All right.
Yeah, not shocked.
I mean, I'm not big. I understand what Rolex is. I find them gaudy and unattractive, but I do understand that they're a lot of money.
They are. And okay.
Keeps bad time.
Bad time.
Bad time?
Really?
Bad time?
That's kind of like the joke about Rolex. Like, they're super great watches and, like, this and that, and it's, like, a fashionable, but, like, yeah, you get... Certainly, you gotta wear it out. You gotta wear it every day and stuff. Like, it's almost ironic.
Okay.
Like that, if you get like the crazy expensive, once you get over like 10 grand and stuff, the way they work's a little different, but a lot of them, it's just about momentum.
Oh, okay. So if you're not wearing it, it's losing. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And they all have the magnifying glass because his wife had bad eyesight.
Mm-hmm. Is that for real?
Yeah.
I know who you learned this from. That's why I'm asking. I can guess who explained all of these details.
Actually, I taught him that once he let me start wearing it.
Ah, okay.
Because you know me, I went to the store and was like, gonna get this resized and clean.
Sad story out of Alabama. A man is facing manslaughter charges for the death of his wife. The man is in a band that was performing its last show at a local bar where his wife was in attendance. Having had a little too much to drink, the woman told her husband that she was going to drive home, to which he refused to let her, spouting that she should just walk home if she didn't want to wait for him, never believing that she actually would. She unfortunately did and was sadly fatally struck by an oncoming car on her way home.
Jeez.
Now her family is pressing charges against him, pinning him as the reason for her death.
Come on.
He stops her from drunk driving. Like, no, you were clearly just completely blasted. You're not going to drive. Right. Makes the off comment, because she's drunk and she's a little bit belligerent, so she's giving him time about it. So he said, fine, just walk home. She's not actually going to do it. Yeah, she did.
And she did.
Well, the difference is she didn't kill somebody else.
Right.
So between the two options, which is you could get in that car, kill yourself, and kill somebody else.
Right. Or
just try to walk home, go ahead and walk home. Or wait for me to just put the band equipment away, and I will drive you home like I said.
Right.
And she said, well, then hell with it, I'm walking home. Well, she was walking down the middle of the street in oncoming traffic.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean,
that's his fault, Mars.
Look, man, I've walked home many nights drunk. I've never been to that level.
And
I'm sure I've been to that level. I just haven't been in the middle of the street.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
No, Mike, I have my shoulder, man.
I got you, man. I got you. In the UK.
I was going to say, I'm definitely taking a tumble on the sidewalk. They're walking in the middle of the street. Like, man, that's kind of...
Right. I covered this a little bit earlier today. In the UK, a nurse was saved by an unlikely medication. The woman had unfortunately contracted a bad enough case of COVID that put her in a coma for nearly a month. Mere days before her ventilator was scheduled to be turned off, one of her doctors made a last-ditch effort and gave her Viagra. While unconventional, the medication worked, waking the nurse from her coma and starting her recovery.
It almost feels like the doctor did it as a joke. And he's like, holy crap, it worked.
Right, shoot, just give her this. Why not?
Give her some Viagra, dude.
Let's just throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks. Gotcha, Ted. Firefighters in Maine had to rescue some balloon that got stuck in a frozen lake. Literally. Due to the ice encroaching on the waters, it sometimes makes it difficult for waterfowl to have enough runway to take off and fly off the water. Such was the case for a loon that had gotten stuck itself in the lake. Crews were able to fish the bird out of the water and release it back into the wild.
Or is immediately attacked by a hawk and killed.
Right?
Yeah.
Imagine that's what your job is for the day. Like, there's a bird stuck in a lake.
What do you want me to do about it?
Grab it
you actually
quick.
want me to do something about it? Okay.
Just go fish that little guy out of there. He's a little cold. He can't quite take off. To South Africa, where folks need to inspect their trees a little bit more closely. A local family had gotten their tree all decked out for the holiday and were celebrating with a little family lighting up the tree when they came across a stowaway in the branches, a massive snake slithering its way out. They were able to wrangle the animal safely, but a little research caused some unrest as it's one of the most venomous snakes in the region.
That would bother me.
That would cause a little bit of unrest there. And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
More Men's Room up next, exclusively on the Odyssey app. We'll see you next, bitches, for the Men's Room Happy Hour.
Yes, indeed. In the meantime, we be all about this bitch for 180 or so seconds. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.